Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Just give everybody about 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. About 30 seconds to log in while I say my hellos. Welcome to another episode of SOS Live Systems, Operation, and Scaling. This is the show where we fix what's running your business before it runs you. I am Jasmine Wooten. I am a fractional COO and the founder of Sys to Win. We help service-based founders build systems that let them scale sustainably instead of sprinting to burnout. So in the last couple of episodes, we have been talking about the three different types of founder archetypes that I'm finding, like just these habits that we take from our 9 to 5s into building a business. And these habits really help us get our business going, but they are also the exact same reasons that our business stalls and that scaling feels hellish. To be frank, right? It's like, okay, whoa, the business started going. Shoot, I wasn't ready for this, and these same habits end up stalling our growth. So today we are actually going to be talking about the silent killer of scaling businesses, which is decision fatigue. So we're going to talk about a couple of things, and I also have, it's so interesting because I just signed a client who's going through this exact same thing. So I'll weave in some examples of a client that I'm working with right now who's experiencing this same thing. So and I'm hearing a lot of things from founders, and this is why I love going live, to be honest with you, because I get to talk to you all about what I'm hearing from other founders, what I'm hearing from other people in the same position, and just kind of make sure that one, you're not alone, and two, that there's an out. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about business that it's supposed to burn you to a crisp, and that's how you know that you're doing it right. I rebuke that. And so a lot of times it's like, okay, well, I need motivation. Like, I just don't have the motivation. I just don't have the motivation. And I'm a firm believer that you don't need motivation. It's not motivation that's stopping you from getting to where you want to go. Motivation is not the reason that your business, lack of motivation is not the reason that your business is growing. And also, motivation is not the reason that your business does grow, right? You don't need more motivation. You actually need to make fewer decisions. So every choice that you make costs energy, right? From what you wear to how you respond to a client Slack message, right? I made a TikTok that did really well, and it really resonated with a lot of people. And I was talking about how I eliminate as many decisions as possible in my life because my business requires me to be a decision maker. So I maintain my decision making energy by eliminating as many decisions as possible, because by 2 p.m., as a founder, you've made so many micro decisions that your brain is running on fumes. But it's 2 p.m. and your clients are just now getting to going, right? You still have hours and hours and hours that are going to require your focus and your expertise. Yeah. And by that time, if you haven't been able to outsource your decision making, you're running on fumes. And so a lot of founders I find that we mislabel this as procrastination or burnout when it's actually, if we get very specific into it, it is actually decision fatigue. Most of you are operating like a CEO, an assistant, and a janitor and an operator all in one body, and wondering why you're so tired and just saying, well, that's just how business goes. But let's talk about how decision fatigue, like what decision fatigue actually is, and how it is quietly or sometimes loudly affecting your ability to scale. So we have this idea that, this old belief that if we just get more organized, I can handle it. If I just get more organized, I can handle it, right? And sometimes, we're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just hire a VA, right? Which I don't think a VA is a bad idea. But the truth is, you can't out-discipline a broken system. So sometimes people get overwhelmed and they're like, just gonna have a VA. I'm just going to get a VA. But then you start to realize that even when you have a VA, especially if you're getting a VA from overseas, and this is no shade to anybody, this is no shade at all. This is just what I'm seeing. This is just the data that I've been seeing. We get a VA and you realize, I have to tell them exactly what to do. And if you have to tell them exactly what to do, by the time you finish explaining to them exactly what to do, you're like, dang, well, I could have just done this myself, and it doesn't actually save time. So decision fatigue and all of that, even that you would have to do with the VA if you hire one, decision fatigue is the tax that you pay for not having structure. Okay, so every quick fix creates new decisions down the line. All of the one-offs, all the manual follow-ups, all the unclear roles, all the duplicated tasks, right? You're waking up tired a lot of times because your business is living in your head. All the decision making is living in your head. And it's not even that you can't handle growth. You're overwhelmed because you are just holding every single decision almost hostage in your brain, right? So even though people want to help you, right? And I've seen this many times. People have teams, right? They have teams, they have a big vision. I work with a lot of CEOs and a lot of founders who have a huge vision, and I love working with them because their vision is so big. And sometimes they'll even have a team, but they still feel overwhelmed because every decision is still in their head. So there's people to do, but they still have to make all the decisions. Okay, but what if it's like this instead of this? What if it's like this instead of this? Oh, let me just ping the founder real quick. Oh, but you know what? This is this, or I'm not sure where to find it, whatever the case may be. Let me just ask the founder, right? And so if you're constantly the person who has to decide what to do next, it's not even leading at that point. It's literally just surviving, right? You're just surviving. So let's talk about as well, like how we fix this, because I hear so many people as well, like saying like, okay, cool. I know I'm supposed to build systems, which systems are not tools, right? Sometimes we'll say, okay, I'm struggling. I need a tool, right? Or like, we'll try to find some sort of technology, right, to solve what we're doing. Now, let me say this. When you do that, right, let's give the example of like somebody getting a headache every day at 4 p.m. I get a headache every day at 4 p.m. So what do? I just have my Tylenol ready. I'm just gonna slap Tylenol on this. I'm gonna take Tylenol. You know what? I'm even gonna be proactive. I'm gonna take the Tylenol at 3 because I always get the headache at 4, right? But every single day you still take that Tylenol at 3 p.m. trying to avoid this headache at 4, when really the culprit is the issue is not the headache, right? If we take a look at your calendar and we see that you don't have a lunch block, right? You don't have blocked off time to tend to your body. That's why you're getting a headache. But when we just slap a tool on it, right? Because we like to say, oh, you know what? Tech tool is going to solve this, right? Then I'm just going to slap that on. But it doesn't actually solve what you think. It doesn't actually solve anything. It's really just a Band-Aid a lot of times. So when we talk about systems, we're not talking about technology, right? Systems are a container. There's technology that we layer on there. But if you saw my post from earlier today, workflows first, tools last. Okay, so I want you to steal this framework that I use with my clients. When we talk about how to build a system, I want you to take this framework. Okay, I want you to take this framework. All right, the first one, right? This is my 3A framework. I use this literally with all my clients. Boom, you come in for a 30-day engagement. We're hitting this 3A. Okay, so the first one is assess. This is the part I feel like that a lot of people don't do enough of. And this is why the recommendations that they get fall flat, right? Because there wasn't enough assessment. And it may seem like when I do this with clients, sometimes they're like, dang, you're asking so many questions. Yes, I am. Because there needs to be a clear assessment before you get any sort of recommendations on what to do. Oh, what should I use for this? Depends. Here are your next questions, right? So this assessment piece, what I want you to do, especially if you're a founder, and if you're running your business on your own, if you're thinking about hiring, honestly, even right, even when it comes to having a team, you already have a team, it don't matter. I need you this week and next week, do a whole 10 days, audit every single decision you make daily, big or small. Write down every single decision you make for one day. You will be shocked at how much of it could be automated, delegated, or deleted. Right? But you have to have a clear understanding of what exactly you are doing. And this is the part that people skip, right? And also, this part, I would encourage you not to use AI, right? If I am a dog groomer and I ask AI, oh, what's my process for grooming a dog? It is going to give you 10 steps that are really great in theory. And as an expert in your field, that there are some one-offs that you do, that there are some nuances to your process, right? That there are some things that you maybe flip the order because you've done this so many times, that AI has an idea, but you as the expert, you move independently, right? So get clear on what you are doing every single day and all of the nuances and all of the decisions that are going into that. Okay? Once you have that assessment, you will start to see the patterns in, when there's a fire, it's typically this, right? When my team is asking me questions, they're usually asking me these questions, right? And you will start to see these patterns develop over time. I don't know if it's the former math teacher in me or not, but there's patterns in everything. I'm always looking for the pattern, because the data is going to tell you exactly what you need, right? So this is the assess part of the 3A framework, okay? The second A is to align. You want to match your decisions to priorities, not to pressure. So stop solving for what is the loudest and start solving for what's lagging, right? We need to use data here. Use your metrics, not your mood, to decide what matters this week, okay? Sometimes, I mean, the mood is important, right? Sometimes I'll ask people's teams like, hey, what's annoying? What's taking so long? What's like really kind of, I just, every day, like I like this job, but I just don't like this one step, right? So match your decisions for your priorities, right? Not just what is loudest, but where are things slowing down? Where is money leaking? Okay. The third piece is where you activate. Now, based on what you have assessed and what you have aligned, now this is when you start to choose your technology. Granted, now I'm saying this as somebody who does not sell technology. I don't sell technology, right? Maybe I should, I don't know, but I don't, right? So when I'm giving you this recommendation, I'm giving you this recommendation based on the fact that there is no monetary gain to me with this advice. Okay? Tools last. Every tool is going to tell you it's the all-in-one. Every tool is going to tell you it's perfect for your business. Every tool is going to have, a list of testimonials. This is business. You're a business owner. You know that, right? What you need to understand, though, as you're looking at these, and even as you go to these consultations for, these certain products, right? You have to be able to understand exactly what you want to accomplish so that you know if the tool matches. Because a lot of times what we do is, oh, my friend uses this, so I'm going to use this too. Or my friend had a discount code. I'm trying to keep my costs low. I'm just going to use it too. But then it's like when Cinderella's sisters were trying to prove that they should be the princess and force their foot into a glass slipper, and the foot is all it is, just because they're like, well, I'm just going to be the princess anyway. And it's like jammed in there, right? And they're in pain, right? For the sake of having this glass slipper. Sometimes that technology is the glass slipper, and we try to shove our business into this technology just because the technology is shiny or it's glass or whatever, right? And like, you'll find very, very quickly that you may use one or two features, and then you'll have to get another piece of technology, because you actually needed a feature that's over here, and then you'll get another piece of technology because you needed this over here, and then your system, your tools are not necessarily talking to one another, and you have this container of technology that's kind of operating independently. And now when that happens, though, data is falling through the cracks. Every time something from Salesforce needs to send to Monday, every time from Monday needs to send to Airtable, every time Airtable needs to send to Notion, there's data leaks, right? And you're trying to hold this whole thing together, right, with some zaps or make.com or whatever. And y'all, I see this happen literally all the time. This is why I can talk about this like this, right? We do this because we're trying to move fast as business owners, right? But sometimes we have to slow down to speed up. So when we're trying to activate this, what we've been doing, right? We did the assessment, then we're aligning our priorities, and now we're trying to activate it with technology. And you have to know, okay, well, what do I actually need to automate? What actually needs to be, what needs to have a human in the loop, right? What needs to, where can I put an AI agent, right? So that my team don't have to talk to me. Instead, they can ask the virtual version of me that has all of my information, right? But does that have all of my information, right? And so all of these things, right, you can only decide once you have assessed and aligned. Now you can activate with technology, and you're finding the technology that matches best. Another reason why you can't listen to people who just say, oh, we'll just use this technology, because they don't know what you already have stuff in, right? You may hate using Airtable, but you already have basically committed all of your data there. And so you have to decide as a CEO, is it worth changing? Or do we make Airtable work and figure out more of do we dive deeper into Airtable, figure out all of the functions that we could be using? Maybe we're not using it until its fullest capacity, which happens all the time, right? But all of these things, right? Once we do the assess, align, activate, steal that framework, steal it. I use it with all of my clients. Assess, align, activate. Once you get to that technology piece, once you've gone through the 3A framework and you get to that technology piece, you're gonna you're gonna be able to make less and less decisions, right? Build that workflow, figure out what is it that I'm actually doing? What are all of the decisions that I'm actually making? A lot of them you can probably cut. A lot of them you can delegate. A lot of them you can automate, but only if you know about all of them. Then align it to your priorities. All of your workflows need to be tied to a KPI, by the way. Right. We're talking metrics. We're not talking mood. We're talking metrics because we're building a business that scales, and we're going to do it based on data. You're a CEO, you're using dashboards, right? Now you activate it, you can add that technology layer onto it, and now your team can start to think without you, which then removes you as the CEO, as the founder. Now you have less decisions that you need to be making for other people every day. And this is how you conserve your energy as a CEO, not by doing less, but by deciding less. You see the difference, right? It's not about doing less, because you are always going to have to do something in your business, right? The amount of what you do will vary over time, right? But you want to decide less. You want to be able to come back from vacation. And the reason why things stall when you go on vacation, because people are like, let's just wait for the founder to decide on this, because I don't know what they would do. And they're right to do that, right? Because you don't want people just deciding willy-nilly and everybody's doing their own thing and you're not sure what's even going on. You don't even have a pulse on your business, right? But you do want to get to the point where you can take the decision-making out of your head, get it down on paper, follow the 3A framework, assess, align, and then activate, so that you as the CEO can conserve your energy. You can step back. People can think without you in a way. They can think like you without you. Let me specify, because people can think without you, but they can't think like you without you unless you have gone through that 3A framework. Okay. So I know that a lot of times too, like as founders, we think that control means touching everything, but the real control is knowing that everything runs without you, without having to touch it, right? You don't need to trust yourself more. You need to trust your systems, right? Trust that, especially if you have multiple clients already, you know what you're doing works, right? So there's no issue on, am I doing the right thing? You're doing the right thing. You have leads coming in already. You're closing clients. You're able to deliver clients. Some of them are even coming back, right? So that cool. Now it's time to trust the system, right? The system being the container of workflows, SOPs, and technology that allow you to back up a little bit, right? Every unchecked process is a mental tab draining your attention, right? Close the tabs, not the business. Because decision fatigue is not about burnout, it's unmade decisions stacked on top of each other. Unmade decisions, unmade decisions, unmade decisions, right? And all of a sudden it seems like your to-do list is so long and all of it requires your thinking, right? So the smartest founders stop trying to remember everything. You don't have to remember everything. They build systems that do that for them. Okay. And so decision fatigue, I promise y'all, it will really take you out if you're not careful. But there is a way around it. Please steal my 3A framework. Okay. If your head is feeling full, right? If your calendar is so booked, booked and busy, that is not a compliment, right? Booked and busy, typically what the silent part is booked, busy, and burned out, right? So you want to be booked and let's maybe switch it to booked and clarity. I don't know, right? But when you're starting to when your head is starting to feel so full and all these decisions, you find yourself burning out early in the day, right? That is really just decision fatigue. It's not your motivation. It's not your motivation. It's not burnout even. It is that decision fatigue weighing on you. So if you're a founder who's like literally like, you know what? This is not why I started a business, right? I'm ready to have a business that can run without me. I'm inviting you to my 30-day system sprint. It's built for founders like you to clear the mental clutter, to build simple systems, and to finally be able to trust your operations again. Holiday season is coming up. I've been talking to so many founders. They're like, oh, I'm just going to be playing catch up. I can't do this. Right? And this 30-day system sprint is your chance to be able to clear up your client onboarding, which sets you up for delivery, which sets you up. Let me tell you this, y'all. Everybody asks me why I focus on client onboarding. And I'm going to just give you all the cheat codes, okay? Client onboarding, that information that you collect from your client up front, not only does it set you up for project delivery, it sets you up to be able to market well. It sets you up to be able to set you up for referrals and your testimonials, right? They're telling you in the beginning, this is what happened. Boom, the end, I feel different, right? It's setting you up to be able to build your case studies, all the things. Client onboarding is not just about that particular action. It is setting up your entire business for success, right? It's going to help you build new offers. It's going to help you upsell. It's going to help you downsell, cross sell, whatever the case may be, right? Your client onboarding is so, so important. So if you're somebody who's like, if you're a founder that's like, you know what? Yeah, I need the mental clutter off of me. I am inviting you to my 30-day system sprint. I only work with 5 clients per month. And November and December spots are filling up pretty quickly. So send me a DM, comment the word scale, or just hit the link in my bio. And let's really start turning this for you, because it is not too late. And I promise you, you do not want to go into 2026 with the same stress that you had in 2025. Me and my team, we have been turning things around for people in 30 days, right? Getting that client onboarding very clear. Okay, I'm gonna go to questions. I see some questions in the chat. Yes, I do have a newsletter. Let me make sure that the link is showing in my bio, which I'm pretty sure it is. And if not, I'll turn it on right after this. Oh, here it is right here. I do have a newsletter. You can see the link in my bio. Also, all of these lives, if you are watching from TikTok, then all of these lives get saved to, the newsletter is in the bio. All of these lives get saved to YouTube and LinkedIn. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, it's Jasmine Wooton, Wooton. You'll see a picture of me with a twist out and a black shirt. Yeah, you'll also see MED CSM at the end. I mean, my last name is pretty unique, so it should only be one of me. But yeah, all of the SOS lives that I've done are on YouTube and are on LinkedIn. Also, the newsletter can join that as well. That's really where I think I've been thinking about like a weekly newsletter, right? But I'm thinking like there are also some other things that I'm like, yo, the founders, I hear a lot from founders. Like I talk with founders so much, and I want to be able to share, all the things that if one founder is doing it, I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, you guys should try this too, right? I want to be able to share that with you. So I may consider doing a second day of the newsletter as well, but I try to go live and then have the newsletter so that you can hear from me at least twice a week and can hear what's working and not what and what's not working. But a lot of times I structure these lives around things that I've been talking with founders about, like in my DMs. So somebody commented, this live in particular was somebody had commented I don't know, I'm gonna mess up the verbiage, but it was like, okay, I know I need systems, but like how? So I wanted to share the 3A framework with you today to make sure that you know how to approach this in your business, because I've used it with so many businesses up to this point, and it's just the framework that I use all the time in my 30-day sprint. So that's how that goes. But yes, check YouTube, follow me on LinkedIn as well, or actually don't follow me on LinkedIn, like actually connect with me on LinkedIn. And so yeah, do that, and make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. There'll be stuff coming out. And yeah, we go live every week. So I always enjoy talking with founders. If you have any questions, please, please, please DM them to me, because there's a lot of things that yeah, a lot of people want to know. A lot of founders want to know. There's a lot of it. Trust me, y'all. As somebody who works with founders, there's a lot of things that founders will come to me and think, oh, yeah, this is a mess, isn't it? I'm just thinking like you and everybody else's business. Like, it's the same. If I talk with 10 founders in a month, 9 out of the 10 of them are struggling with the same thing, right? And so that's why I do these episodes. Get that information out of your head is like number one. Get the information out of your head. Start writing down all the things that you do, all of the decisions that you're making. That is step number one to building a business that can scale without you. Number one. But yeah, this has been another episode of SOS Live. Thank you so much for those of you who tune in live. Thank you so much for those of you who view this afterward and send me DMs and ask me questions and all that stuff. This is one of the favorite parts of my week. So yes, appreciate it. And I will see you all next week. I will see you all in the newsletter. And if you are a founder who is just tired of the mental dance that comes with scaling your business, shoot me a DM, comment the word scale. We have a couple spots left in our 30-day system sprint, so that we can get you right for 2026, because I'm going into the new year absolutely relaxed, and I hope that you can too. So see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend. Bye.